So the WBC swooped in on Friday and made an unusual move, not unprecedented, but very unusual, and they ordered Noel Mikaelian to defend the title against Benavidez, who's a unified champion.
Behind the scenes, the pressure keeps building as the unification fight teeters on the edge. A legal threat has now surfaced, and one wrong move could completely shut down the showdown and send shockwaves through the entire cruiserweight division.
To chaos.
How long does Mikaelian have to inform you that he is going to take this fight? And if he commits to fighting that Zuffa boxing fight against Opetaia, does he immediately get stripped, or does there need to be some communication and some plans detailed to you?
Well, of course, the WBC order is Mikaelian against Benavidez. That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
If he takes another fight, then he's relinquishing his obligations with the WBC.
Sean Ziddle breaks down Mikaelian's tough spot. The WBC mandate is putting the squeeze on him, forcing a choice between defending the belt against Benavidez for less money or chasing a bigger payday against Opetaia for the Ring Magazine Cruiserweight Championship. If the money wins out, Mikaelian might ditch the WBC belt and go after the more lucrative fight.
Noel Mikaelian is going to have a decision to make. Is he going to want to keep his a big boy decision, which is he going to want to keep his WBC belt and defend against David Benavidez for what would be a lower purse, ultimately, for what he'd get offered to fight a Turkey-funded ring show for the lineal cruiserweight title against Jai Opetaia? If it comes down to money, it won't be against Noel Mikaelian, be stripped and instead look to fight Jai Opetaia for the ring title.
But there's more riding on this than just Mikaelian's next move. Chris Algieri points out that the Benavidez matchup carries serious weight. Benavidez already took down Zurto Ramirez, and if he faces Mikaelian, who holds the WBC belt, they could unify 3 of the 4 major cruiserweight titles in one night.
This came out. This is really good news. Benavidez and Mikaelian closing in on a cruiserweight unification. Benavidez is coming off of that huge win against Zurto, picking up 2 of the titles. Mikaelian is the WBC titleist, so this is a unification for 3 of the 4 major titles at cruiserweight.
This matters. Robert Garcia sees David Benavidez as young, hungry, and locked in on meaningful fights, whether that's unifications, mandatories, or big-name matchups. Garcia also thinks Benavidez won't stick around at cruiserweight much longer. If he keeps fighting at this weight, a move to heavyweight is coming sooner rather than later.
Young, hungry, wants to have the best fights out there. They want fights that mean something, if it's a unification or a mandatory or, a big fight against a big name. And if he's staying at cruiserweight, that just tells me one thing, that sooner than later he's going to hit the heavyweight, and he's looking for that. He will move up sooner than later and compete against the heavyweights. He's doing.
Max Kellerman disagrees on the priority. He thinks Jai Opetaia is the fight that carries the most weight for Benavidez right now. Kellerman views Opetaia as the toughest challenge at cruiserweight, making it a far more meaningful test than the other options on the table. He believes Benavidez is wrong and should fight Jai Opetaia, the cruiserweight champion of the whole wide world. Teofimo Lopez echoes that, calling Opetaia the ideal opponent for Benavidez. He sees more fan appeal in that matchup and believes a win over Opetaia would strengthen Benavidez's claim as the top fighter at cruiserweight.
I think, honestly, Benavidez should just go after the ring and face Jai Opetaia. I mean, why not? I mean, overall, it should be a better fight. People want to see it already, and you'll be the #1 guy. You will be the champion.
Benavidez himself admits that facing Opetaia carries real value, especially with another world title on the line. He sees adding another belt as a major accomplishment and remains focused on establishing himself at cruiserweight before making any move up.
It's definitely legit because he has 2 world titles. I mean, it doesn't really matter if Jai Opetaia has another one. He has 2 legit titles right there. So I think so. It's a legit fight. It's a legit, title shot, and I'm gonna be very happy once I capture those 2 titles.
Jai Opetaia keeps his intentions crystal clear. He's staying locked in on securing the biggest challenges available. He's spent years chasing elite competition, and the undisputed crown is the ultimate target. Whenever the right opportunity comes, Opetaia says he's ready to take it.
I'm ready to fight. I've been chasing these big fights for quite a while. I want to call myself undisputed, so it is what it is. I'm ready when they are.
Andre Ward calls a matchup between Opetaia and David Benavidez a standout clash for the cruiserweight division. He highlights Opetaia's established position among the elite, while noting Benavidez's growing momentum and stature. Ward sees the pairing as the kind of high-profile fight that could bring greater attention and significance to the entire division.
The Jai Opetaia fight at cruiserweight is the fight for me. That's the fight that I want to see. Jai has been the man at that weight class for a very long time. Now you got a new player in the division with a hot name and whose stock and whose star power is only rising. That's the fight I believe that needs to be made at the cruiserweight division. We'll love to see.
Roy Jones Jr. backs that view, calling Jai Opetaia an ideal next challenge for David Benavidez. With the matchup offering a genuine test for both men, he points to Opetaia's size and ability as factors that could give Benavidez the kind of challenge he hasn't faced yet, especially with both fighters adjusting their weight. Jones sees the fight as a meaningful step for Benavidez against an opponent capable of pushing him to another level.
I like him and Jai. I think it's a great fight to test both of them. Jai's new and coming. Benavidez has not had nobody apparently that really wanted to try to step up and test him yet that was of his caliber. We knew that Ramirez was good, but 200 rounds of sparring, he knows you're not his caliber.
And
so I think Opetaia will be the first guy to challenge him that really has the size enough to really be a challenge. And I think he'll be the first challenge for Benavidez as well because he'll be coming down the weight just like Benavidez does.
Max Kellerman doubles down, saying Opetaia is the matchup that makes the most sense for Benavidez at 200 pounds. He views the Australian as a top-level test and a chance for Benavidez to prove himself against one of the division's strongest names.
My number one fight I'd like to see is Benavidez and Opetaia at 200 pounds. To me, that has supplanted Beterbiev as the fight to see because that's really where Benavidez belongs. It doesn't have to be a catch weight. Those are the two best guys in the division. That would be Benavidez's real first title shot at a Ring magazine.
Sergio Mora gives Opetaia the edge in a potential clash with David Benavidez, pointing to the Australian's size, movement and punching power at cruiserweight. While Mora recognizes Benavidez as an elite-level fighter, he views Opetaia's physical advantages at the weight as factors that could ultimately swing the matchup in his favor.
Opetaia is stronger. Pound for pound in punching, Opetaia punches a lot harder with one single shot than Benavidez. He's a harder, heavy-handed puncher. He's a southpaw. He has better feet than Benavidez. He's just as mean as Benavidez. That would be violent, man. That fight would be violent.
Do you think Jai Opetaia is as mean as Benavidez?
100%. Oh, man, yes. This is violent, man. And he has heavy hands and he has quick feet. And he does it from that left-handed stance. Opetaia will beat Benavidez if they ever fight. That's just my early prediction. I think Benavidez is top pound for pound. He's a killer. He's the future of Mexican boxing and those Mexican dates. But there's weight classes for a reason. He was able to beat a blown-up super middleweight in Surdo Ramirez, but not a natural cruiserweight champion like Opetaia because there's limits to boxing.
Robert Garcia sees a clear path for Benavidez despite Opetaia's natural advantages at cruiserweight. He points to Benavidez's relentless pressure, bodywork, and sustained combinations as weapons that could gradually wear Opetaia down and shift the momentum as the fight progresses.
This is violent, man, and he has heavy hands and he has quick feet, and he does it from that left-handed stance. Opetaia will beat Benavidez if they ever fight. That's just my early prediction. I think Benavidez is top pound for pound. He's a killer. He's the future of Mexican boxing and those Mexican dates. But there's weight classes for a reason. He was able to beat a blown-up super middleweight in Surdo Ramirez, but not a natural cruiserweight champion like Opetaia because there's limits to boxing.
Garcia also feels Benavidez has more to accomplish at cruiserweight before moving up to heavyweight. He views another high-level test at 200 pounds as valuable preparation, giving Benavidez a chance to establish himself against elite competition before facing naturally bigger opponents.
I think he's got a couple fights that I would love him to do. Maybe at that same weight, or maybe go down to fight Bivol and Beterbiev, and the other one is what that other cruiserweight that signed with Sufa.
Jai.
Opetaia.
Yeah.
I don't know if that fight could even be done now that he's with Sufa and what belts they're gonna fight for, whatever. I don't know. But those are three fights that I would like to see Benavidez take. But then after that, he's ready for the heavyweights, man. He's ready to fight Usyk.
Teddy Atlas highlights David Benavidez's relentless drive to challenge himself. He points to the fighter's willingness to pursue difficult opponents as a defining trait, showing that Benavidez' career has been built around seeking out the toughest tests rather than taking the easy route.
I always loved him because of his attitude on top of that he'll fight anyone. Old school. You know, he puts his money where his mouth is. He wanted to fight Canelo, he's ready to fight Canelo. You know, he didn't get that, then, you know, he goes up to light heavyweight and he wins the title there. And then he goes up to cruiserweight. He'll take fights that, at least on paper, are risky fights that a lot of people wouldn't take, and he'll take them. He puts his money where his mouth is. He has the true confidence that you want in a champion. He believes in himself that he can beat anybody, and he shows it. And he's willing to make fights that can really leave him a great legacy by having that attitude.
Bernie Thigh Boxer urges Benavidez to concentrate on establishing himself at cruiserweight instead of keeping the Canelo-Alvarez discussion at the center of his career. He sees Jai Opetaia as the more meaningful challenge right now, especially if Benavidez wants to strengthen his claim as the division's leading fighter.
Every fucking this nigga never gonna not say Canelo. Nigga, you can't talk about nobody else, nigga. Nothing. That's what you should have been said. You should have said Opetaia, motherfucker. That's what you should have said. I'm here at cruiserweight. I want the champion. I want to be the champion. I want to be the champion. I would have loved to fight Bivol and them, but they was doing busy. Yeah. I would hope I want to be the champion. I don't never hear him talking about that shit.
Oladipo emphasizes David Benavidez' ability to overwhelm opponents with speed, volume, and relentless pressure. He highlights Benavidez' rapid combinations and punishing flurries, arguing that few fighters could consistently withstand that kind of non-stop offense. Oladipo's assessment paints Benavidez as an especially dangerous force whenever he gets into his rhythm.
His hand speed, his combinations, this guy, I mean, when he throws those combinations, they're so fast. And it's not 2s and 3s, it's 6s and 7s. Like, what do you do? What do you do for someone that can snap your head back and throw combinations with that much power and anger? There's not much you can do. That's a bad man. That is a very, very bad man.
Tim Bradley also gives David Benavidez the advantage in a matchup with Jai Opetaia, pointing to the pressure he brings from start to finish. He sees Benavidez' whole human physicality gradually taking their toll, allowing him to dictate the action and gain more control as the fight progresses.
David Benavidez beat Jai Opetaia. Hell yeah, he beat Opetaia. Oh, I'ma double down. He gonna beat Opetaia. I double down on that one. He gonna beat Opetaia. See, Opetaia got good feet. Yeah, he can box, but he can be drugged into a fight. And if you know anything about David Benavidez, just like he did with Ramirez, he's the one of those guys that's gonna test your heart. He gonna test what you have in here. And once he go to Jai's ass and he tests what he has in here, Jai gonna lose his shit. Jai ain't gonna be boxing and moving around. Jai gonna be looking to fight. Jai gonna get tired too. Yeah, because Jai, if you look at the history of Jai Opetaia, he get tired. Yes, he gets tired.
Jose Benavidez Sr. questions whether Opetaia has faced enough elite opposition to prove himself at the highest level. While respecting the Australian's ability, he feels there are still questions surrounding his resume. At the same time, he views a clash with Benavidez as a serious test that could show exactly where both fighters stand.
Opetaia, you know what? I think he's a great fighter. I met him at a fight. I want to give a big shout out to Opetaia. I think he's a great fighter. He's doing well, but I think he still needs the experience, you know? His last fight, I think he held back. He looked a little bit tired. He was struggling in there. He did win the fight to me. And, I mean, he did win pretty much all the rounds. But, you know, I just think that he needs a little bit more experience. You know, we'll fight him tomorrow. Not a problem. Like I said, we want to fight him.
Mike Coppinger gives David Benavidez the edge when it comes to experience. He highlights the tougher competition Benavidez has already gone through, which could prove valuable against Jai Opetaia. Coppinger still views Opetaia as a serious threat, but sees Benavidez' experience in major fights as a possible deciding factor.
Yeah, I gotta say, Max, I think Benavidez is a bigger favorite with the bookies. I want to see that fight first. I don't think Opetaia has not yet proven that he is on the level of a Benavidez, who's definitely a Hall of Famer. No disrespect to Opetaia, who's building his own legacy, but he's not there yet.
Scott views Jai Opetaia as the ultimate test for David Benavidez at cruiserweight. He considers Opetaia one of the most formidable names at 200 pounds, making a victory over him a major statement. For Scott, beating the Australian would give Benavidez the chance to validate his status against one of the division's toughest challengers.
If you ask me right now, what's the next legacy fight for Benavidez, I would say Opetaia. I wouldn't say no one else. Right. Like, obviously, Benavidez, stuff like that. But to me, that just comes across if you're not going to be transparent with yourself and recognize that Opetaia is an extreme legacy fight, then we have to look at that as a duck, Max. And as much as we all love Benavidez on this show, even myself, he beat my guy, Zerto Ramirez. I just came on air the other day and said, you got to tip your hat to a guy. He is the man. But if he don't see Opetaia as a legacy fight, then that holds my interest on what do he see as a legacy fight.
Kid Austin views a showdown between David Benavidez and Jai Opetaia as the fight that should come first before either man makes a move to heavyweight. He regards the matchup as evenly matched enough for both fighters to have a real path to victory, with the final result likely coming down to which one executes his strategy more effectively.
I think that would be a great fight. I think before he would go to heavyweight, I think that would be the fight that needs to be made. I think Jai has a good chance too of possibly winning. Like really? I said, yeah, I think it just comes down to who shows up that night, for real.
Andre Durrell highlights what makes David Benavidez so difficult to handle, especially his relentless output and ability to keep opponents trapped under pressure. He points to movement, smart positioning, and distance management as the key tools for disrupting Benavidez's attacks and preventing him from settling into his preferred pace.
Both of these guys go for 12 rounds strong. I'm amazed by David Benavidez's energy, man. His last fight against Anthony Yarmus, like, man, this dude is like a damn robot. Damn, this he is full of energy, man. But he's technically flawed. David has no feet whatsoever. Period, point blank, man. And don't need him at this point. And once he gets in there with someone who's willing to use their feet, then he's going to see where he needs to capitalize with his feet.
Anthony Mundine points to Jai Opetaia as the opponent who could truly establish David Benavidez at cruiserweight. He views the Australian as the most significant hurdle in Benavidez's path at 200 pounds, with a victory potentially elevating his position and adding real credibility to his run in the division.
I think Zuffa's sort of just gave him security in the years to come, in the fights to come. You know what I mean? Like Jai said, the big fights can be made. The Benavidez, maybe Benavidez is saying that type of stuff so he doesn't fight Jai. You know what I mean? I know there's not as big as fighting Zerto on the Independence Day and things like that, but that's done. If the best wants to fight the best in the cruiserweight division is Jai Opetaia, by far. And I think it'll be a big dent in Benavidez's legacy if he doesn't fight him.
The next chapter could bring a major shake-up with everything on the line and no room for mistakes. If this fight comes together, the outcome could change the division for good.